How many of you didn't believe me? How many? I know you're out there. I tweeted, Libs of TikTok was doxxed by Taylor Lorenz in the Washington Post. What do I got to do? Do I got to buy a billboard in Times Square? Well, I got one. With the help of Jeremy Boring over at the Daily Wire, we were able to put this together very, very quickly. I got to say, shout out to the Daily Wire crew for helping make this possible as quickly as we did, because this is, it's truly magical. I tweeted, the Washington Post and Taylor Lorenz doxed at Libs of TikTok. They included a link to private work details and an address listed as Lib's private home. They lied about it, so I got an ad in Times Square calling them out, thanks to Jeremy Boring for the assist. For those that aren't familiar with the story, let me give you the breakdown. But first, well, I'll give you the quick gist. Libs of TikTok, you can see here on the right, criticizes the left, mostly aggregates videos of left-wing individuals saying things that are shocking, abhorrent, or otherwise embarrassing. Taylor Lorenz, a journalist for the Washington Post, revealed the identity, but also in the article linked to private work details. Now, I have the archive here to prove it. I can't show what happens when I click that link because it would reveal private details which would get this video taken down. Taylor Lorenz says it is patently false that her Libs of TikTok story linked to personal info. Lorenz suggests conservatives reject her story because they don't want scrutiny. It's just an outright lie. So here we go. I got a billboard in Times Square, and this is what it looks like. So it says, hey, WaPo, democracy dies in darkness. That's why we're shining a light on you. Oh, so there's a jump cut. But it says, that's why we're shining a light on you. And it says, Taylor Lorenz doxed Libs of TikTok at TimCast. That's how you know it was from me. Thanks very much, guys. I said I was going to do it. I did it. Again, shout out to the Daily Wire crew. Look, I don't know if getting a billboard pushing back on the lies is the most effective way to get things done, but it felt like something should be done to get some attention because I am just sick of the lies. I am sick of the lies. Here's the story from Fox News. On April 22nd, Washington Post's internet culture columnist Taylor Lorenz deflected any criticism she received for her report doxing the identity of the popular Twitter personality Libs of TikTok. Lorenz sat down for an interview with CNN's Brian Stelter on his Reliable Sources podcast, where he confronted her on the various complaints conservatives had in response to her story, but barely pressed her with any follow-up questions, dismissing her critics as being nitpicky. The journalist began by justifying the newsworthiness of revealing the person behind the Twitter account that yields such power, saying, for all we knew, this could have been a foreign actor, full stop. You're correct, Taylor. I agree. For all we know, it could have been a foreign actor. And absolutely, I think you should do some investigative reporting to figure out who's behind these influential accounts. I will also note that a Saudi prince has tremendous influence in Twitter, or did at least until Elon Musk purchased it. And that also is of deep concern to me. Now, once you discovered it wasn't a foreign actor, what was the purpose of publishing the name of Libs of TikTok? You said, well, people should know. Okay, fine, I guess. Taking away the anonymity of a political actor because they're influential, perhaps. But even Matthew Iglesias, a liberal, formerly of Vox.com, one of the co-founders, said the name was immaterial to the story. Oh, it turns out to be some random crank. Right. Journalists seek to minimize harm. They're supposed to. Publishing the name only maximized harm and did not in any way change the story. But that in and of itself is an argument. You want to say the name should be released because prominent people should be known about, they're influential? Okay, I gotcha. However, when she goes on to say that she did not dox, here we have an archive. I'm going to read the URL for you. It's archive.ph/capital B, lowercase e, capital V, lowercase L, and O. That lowercase l may be an I. But you can search for the article in the archives and see that they use her name. Chaya Rychik has been working as a real estate salesperson. When you click real estate salesperson, it will show you her address, her private home address according to public listings, as well as where she works. And it is presumed she works, her home address and her work address are listed as the same. Make up any reason for you want why that's the case. All I'm going to say, because I've talked about it quite a bit, is if public housing records say that's a home address, Then what? She works from home? But other people work for that company too. Yes, some people use their home address for their LLCs. It's a real estate company. Do they need a really big office? More importantly, it's a commercial residential mix, meaning the first floor is a business, second floor is a residential. So anyway, Taylor Lorenz is lying about this. Quote, I am no newbie to internet drama, so I understand if you publish anything that kind of pokes the bear this way, they're going to come full force. I think that's the best case scenario, and in a lot of ways, in the terms of people take your story seriously, right? If everyone just ignores it and it's a nothing burger, that's usually a sign that you didn't do an interesting story or one that really resonated. The whole goal with the right-wing media is to obscure this stuff and attack journalism and to try and discredit any kind of journalist that attempts to hold these powers to account. I assumed that they would have drama, sort of like they always do. Lorenz chuckled. All right. I agree completely, Taylor. I really, really do. People of influence should be held to account. The Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, a billionaire. I think what is he, the second richest guy on the planet? And you're a prominent journalist with hundreds of thousands of followers. I actually respect the initial premise behind the story. Who is Libs of TikTok? Not the name. If you want to post the name, we can have an argument about posting someone's name. That I understand. That's a journalistic standards thing. You may disagree with me. However, if your goal is to understand who is running the account, why they are doing it, I think that is absolutely it's fantastic journalism. And I would say, in any other circumstance, excellent work finding out who is behind this, even though other people did the research, but learning about their motivations and then sharing those motivations. But you crossed a line. You crossed a line by posting private home details. Now, I reached out to Taylor Lorenz, who said, I did not do it. I'm not here to play games. Is she saying I didn't do it because the Washington Post did it? Is she saying she didn't do it because it was the editor that had included the link? Is she outright denying the address is the home? Don't know, don't care. All that matters is Taylor Lorenz is on the byline that links to the private home address according to public records. Now, it's possible that Chaya Raichik moved from that address, and Taylor is simply saying it's okay to publish that address because she doesn't live there now. That's on her to come out and rebut. TimCast's newsroom did the search, pulled up public records on housing, not business, and found it listed as Chaya Raichik's private residence. I reached out to another source who said to me that that was the private address, but the reason I don't include that, and I'll take that one with a grain of salt. I am open to the idea that Chaya moved from this address. That's fine. It is still linked to private details, where she worked, her real estate license. If you want to argue this information is out of date, do it. That's not what she's doing. She's just outright saying, I deny. Okay, well, you did dox the person. At the very least, doxing includes putting the name out there. Yes, that's true. They also, in this article, explain basically how to get the phone number of this person. All right. So they go on to say, let me see if I can pull this up just to show you. If you do libs of TikTok, here we go. It says, when a reporter called the phone number registered to Raichik's real estate profile and libs of TikTok, liboftiktok.us, the woman who answered hung up. When I saw this story, it took me literally 3 seconds to get the phone number. This, okay, maybe not an outright doxing, but you did link to private details and then explained where to find private details. The left has tried to rebut this in many ways, saying that, well, it's all publicly available information. That doesn't change whether or not it is a dox. If we don't know the name of Chaya Raichik, we don't know for sure that Chaya is behind libs of TikTok, and then you say she is, and then you include private details, it doesn't matter if it's public. You connected the account to the address. You did it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got a Times Square Billboard ad. Again, special thanks to Daily Wire. I'll say it a million times. So I tweeted after Taylor Lorenz came out and said that she didn't do it, that it, may have been a foreign agent. I was just like, do I have to buy a Times Square Billboard ad? Jeremy Boring tweeted out, I got half. And I said, let's make it happen. And I can't believe it. In a couple days, we made it happen. Again, I don't know if this is the most effective way to deal with the issue. But at the very least, we're doing something to generate attention, to push back on the lies and the manipulation. Everything I said in that, it's true. Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. So we're going to shine a light on you. Taylor Lorenz doxed libs of TikTok. Deny it all you want. You want to deny it? Fine. We'll push back. You want to make a false statement? Well, I suppose it'll be on libs of TikTok as to whether or not there's some kind of legal action or otherwise. But it's all there, plain to see. And it's one of the most insane lies I have ever seen in media. Because look right here. Archive.ph. What it does is you paste the link. Here we go. WashingtonPost.com/technology/2022/4/19/libs of TikTok. It's all right here. You can see Taylor Lorenz's name is on it. You scroll down. Chaya Reichik has been working as a real estate salesperson. And when you click it, it brings you to a private address that in it literally just says contact address. It doesn't say work office. The left is trying to protect Taylor Lorenz from doxing this person by saying, well, it's just a work address. Yo, posting someone's work address is still doxing them. If your argument is, well, it's not her home, it's just her work. Fine. That's not true, but that's still doxing someone. The Washington Post came out and said they didn't link to any private details. Who are you kidding? It's right here. How do you think I found the address? I did not do a deep dive into Chaya Reichik. I clicked the link, got the address, and then we dug into what the address was. We then also cross-referenced it with Chaya Reichik, and what did we find? Personal address. Now, again, it's possible Chaya has moved from here, and that's their defense. Fine. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just say #winning. With Elon Musk moving in on Twitter, I think there is beautiful shores ahead. Land ho, as it were. Let me show you some other really great things. You know, I'm like, I got the news about the Billboard being up. They sent me the video like, we got it. We're in New York. There it is. And it was like 10 minutes before call time for recording this segment. And so I said, well, you know, I was going to talk about Elon Musk. Maybe I'll talk about that next. But I also have some other really funny news I tweeted about. So aside from just making, let me pause for a minute. There's good news as it pertains to calling out fake news. But let me just say, if you like the work we do, head over to TimCast.com and become a member. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. With your money as members, we hire journalists. We've got opinion writers. We're hiring a few more columnists to do analysis and commentary. We've got a handful of journalists. Brett McDonald recently joined the team. Very excited for Brett. He does a fantastic job. We're hiring more journalists. Now that's easy, right? Of course, you hire some good journalists, people you know and trust. We make sure we have strong standards. But I'll tell you what else we're going to do. For one, you'll get access to members-only segments of the TimCast IRL podcast. We're also going to buy billboards in Times Square, calling out the establishment. We are going to get commercials on TV. I'm not going to go crazy because it is really expensive. But this is what we're going to be doing. We are pushing back. Now, some people have said Taylor Lorenz's real age is this, that, or otherwise. And the other night on TimCast IRL, I got mad. They're like, she's 49 years old. Is she lying about her age? I don't care about her age. Ian said, well, if she's actually 43 but lying, saying she's younger, that's important too. And I'm like, yeah, look, people want to make fun of her for being ugly. They want to make fun of her clothes. That is immaterial. I don't care about that. Taylor could be a supermodel or be fugly. None of that matters. What matters is Taylor is a journalist, if you want to call her that because of this story. But no, she is. She works for the Washington Post. Her personal life is immaterial. What matters is, as a professional working for one of the largest newspapers in the world, she published private information in this story directly linking to it and then lied about it. I don't care if she wants to do the doxing. What I mean is, I think it's bad and I'll criticize it, but that's about all I do. I'd say, wow, that was wrong. They shouldn't do that. But Taylor Lorenz is trying to gaslight us, and the Washington Post is trying to gaslight us. And for this, we must have a proper rebuttal. Times Square billboard ad will be up. There you go. Ruffle up some feathers. We will do more things like this. I will not sit back as people spit in our faces with lies. You want to wear certain clothes? I don't care. You want to be around whoever you love? I don't care. You civil rights, all of that stuff, fantastic. I love it. Let people love who they love. Don't be mean to people. Don't insult people. I am not here to play games where people want to just insult someone's appearance or call them dumb. That's stupid. No, but I will call Taylor Lorenz a liar. And I will call her out. Now, let me show you some other good news in the realm of fake news. This, my friends, is The Daily Beast. Why this Hawaii senator lost his ish on Josh Hawley. I don't care for this story. What I care is the Newsguard rating. Up in the top right, you will see Newsguard has put a red exclamation point on the Daily Beast. This is fantastic news. The tides are turning, my friends. Truth is beginning to claw its way out of this pile of refuse. And I'm glad to see it. The Daily Beast, once a prestigious paper, I believe it was attached to Newsweek. It was like the digital arm of Newsweek. Once they won awards and things like that. Now, Newsguard says, proceed with caution. This website fails to adhere to several basic journalistic standards. That's right. The Daily Beast, a prominent New York digital leftist publication, is now deemed to be fake news. The Newsguard nutrition label says it does not gather information responsibly, it does not correct or clarify errors, and it does not handle the difference between news and opinion responsibly. For that, they have a 57 out of 100, which is a red exclamation point. Now, to be fair, it does say it does not repeatedly publish false content. I think that's funny considering when you go into Newsguard's review, it literally talks about all of the fake news they posted about Kyle Rittenhouse. It really is a sight to behold. I would also like to point out the Daily Beast wrote several fake things about me, too. Well, the Daily Beast is now fake news. And my friends, I'd like to show you this. The Postmillennial. Yes, Libby Emmons, a good friend of TimCast IRL, frequent guest, and the editor-in-chief of the Postmillennial. I'm sure she is happy to see this. Now, we have Libby on the show because Libby is opinionated, which is excellent, but she also cares about facts and details. And for this, you end up with the Postmillennial, which has a point of view, which highlights certain kinds of content, but does its best to make sure the facts are true and correct. And when you look at the nutrition label from Newsguard, why, the Postmillennial has an 82 out of 100. Amazing. They say that they don't. Newsguard says the Postmillennial doesn't gather and present information responsibly. Okay, well, you can argue, but everything else across the board regularly corrects and clarifies errors, handles the difference between news and opinion responsibly, does not repeatedly publish false content. It only has one strike, giving it a score of 82 out of 100. The Daily Beast doesn't have that. In fact, it's really amazing when you look. They talk about how the Daily Beast repeatedly said Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines with a weapon. They talk about how, let me see if I can find this one. The Daily Beast had not updated or corrected its Hunter Biden story as of mid-April 2022. Woo! What's that saying? No, the times they are a-changin'. For the good, I would say. Take a look at this. You want to know something else? Let me show you what else. Aside from the fact that Newsguard is calling the Daily Beast fake news, saying that Postmillennial does a good job. Newsguard is how you get advertisers. Now, I've had people on the right say, I don't care about Newsguard. Okay, well, look, Newsguard is far from perfect. I think they're actually fairly biased, but I think they do well enough. If you want your news outlet to be certified, provide names of the creators along with contact or biographical information. A small portion, I agree with that. I want to know who's writing these stories. I don't want blank bylines like The Economist does. Who's in charge, including any possible conflicts of interest. Also, a good thing to do. We do that at TimCast. We do both of these things. Clearly label advertising. Yes, I hate advertorials. When a company buys an article and makes it seem like it's an article, avoid deceptive headlines. I completely agree with this. Now, there are some challenges there, I will admit, because you'll often see things where it's like, there was one that said, Florida revokes Disney's, land permit as protests rage. That's a true and correct headline, but I felt like it was misleading. Headlines, some people don't like the way they're structured. I will say for opinion pieces, I give way more leeway on this, and you can see that reflected in my content. The way I title things, some people don't like them, but these are opinion columns. This is opinion commentary. The underlying facts, I always want to make sure are true and correct, but it's my opinion and analysis on these issues. Handle the difference between news and opinion responsibly, 100%. Don't put opinion in your articles. I have gone to the TimCast newsroom several times and said, guys, this one's too close to opinion. Slap the opinion label on it. We don't got to change it. We don't got to take it down, but just put the opinion label on it because people should know. Clarify errors always clarify errors. Why wouldn't you? What's the point of doing news if you won't? Present news and information responsibly. Well, that's kind of nebulous. I don't really know what they mean by that, but I think it means Your headlines should be true and fair, and the context of them should be true and fair. Don't publish false content is the big one. Of course you shouldn't. You should not do that. I agree with the Newsguard stuff. When you adhere to these standards, you can then go to advertise and say, we got third-party certification, same as the New York Times, same as CNN. The Daily Beast, fake news. It's about time as well. I think Newsguard needs to go after way more outlets. Let me throw this in for good measure. The numbers behind CNN, they were looking to invest $1 billion, $100 million in 2021, $400 million in 2022, $300 million in 23, $200 in 24, hoping that by 2025, they would generate $900 million. And by 2026, they would generate $1 billion and reduce their costs for a net gain of $200. They were hoping to generate $2 billion by 2030 with a net of $800 million profit. Instead, they crashed and burned. So let me tell you, my friends, while Taylor Lorenz goes on TV and her and the Washington Post lie about doxing libs of TikTok, they did. And we call them out with a billboard in Times Square, maybe just an emotional victory. Because regular people might see that and be like, I don't know what that is. But I'm hoping that it just generates buzz, that people are going to see it and be like, I wonder what that's about. And there you go. We asserted ourselves and made our statement. Now you can see that even Newsguard is challenging these fake news outlets. The Postmillennial, who does a good job. Real news. The Daily Beast, fake news. Now, Newsguard also gives Breitbart and Project Veritas a bad rating. I get it. But it's good to see them going after big institutional establishment news outlets like the Daily Beast, because the Daily Beast, in my opinion, is fake news. CNN is crumbling. We are pushing back. Elon Musk buying Twitter. The tides are a-turning, my friends. Good news all around. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCast. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.